How's everybody doing today? My name is Tevin Mason, and this is the Wrestlemania 32 podcast. This is my first podcast ever, so let's make this a good one. First match on the card was Kalisto versus Ryback for United States Championship. Ryback being the challenger and Kalisto being the champion, this match was important because it was for the belt. This was David versus Goliath. Ryback being Goliath and David being Kalisto. Kalisto was a smaller wrestler compared to Ryback, who's the bigger wrestler who can pretty much bench 400, 500 pounds. But Kalisto, on the other hand, is very athletic and very quick and can do a lot of nice moves and, very acrobatic. The match was very good. For example, Ryback took over throughout the match, but Kalisto found a way to get the W. The next match I want to talk about is the Total Divas versus Bad and the Blondes. This match was a Divas match, and I believe it was 10 females in the ring. Total Divas being a reality TV show for WWE female wrestlers, aka Divas, was the Total Diva team versus the Bad, that were pretty much two wrestlers, Tamina and Naomi, that were bad guys, compared also with Emma and Summer Rae, that were blonde. The match was pretty much a quick match, to send off one of the female wrestlers who is about to retire, and she had a good career, and her getting the W. But it was a very fast-paced match. Every diva had a chance to go ahead and go in the ring and work out and get moves in, so it was a good match. The third match I wanted to talk about was the Usos versus the Dudley Boys. The Usos, if you don't know, are nephews of The Rock, and they're Samoan, versus the Dudleys, who are actually future Hall of Fame wrestlers as a team. And the match was fast paced, a lot of blows, but in the end, the Usos got the W. And at the end of the match, they got the tables. That's the Dudleys thing. They get tables and put people through the tables. They actually put the Dudley through tables and slammed and jumped on them and slammed through the table. So that was very cool. And then the first match of the actual WrestleMania started, and that was the Intercontinental ladder match, and it contested of 7 wrestlers. I can name them off head. You had Dolph Ziggler, you had Cody Rhodes, you had The Miz, you had Zack Ryder, you had Sami Zayn, you had Kevin Owens. These wrestlers fought for the prize to win the Intercontinental Championship. It was a fast-paced match with good high spots, a lot of slams, a lot of using of weapons, very interactive, a nice match, and a lot of hype. And honestly, for me being a wrestling fan, I thought one of my favorite wrestlers was going to actually win it, but then instead they did a low ball and pretty much had everybody surprised and had the person that nobody expected to win, and that was Zack Ryder. So that was his WrestleMania moment, and that was really cool. He got cheered by about 98,000 people. The next match I want to talk about is AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. AJ Styles just got signed to the WWE. He wrestled all over the world, and he's pretty much a future Hall of Famer in a lot of wrestling companies, compared to Chris Jericho, who's also a future Hall of Famer / musician. And they're pretty much OGs in wrestling. They locked up for the 4th time. AJ Styles won the first bout, Chris Jericho won the second, and then AJ Styles won it again. So it was the 4th time to pretty much finish the rivalry. It was a fast-paced match. Both moves were done precisely perfectly by both wrestlers. And it was, oh my gosh, moments here and there seeing who was going to win. But at the end of the day, Chris Jericho got the W by catching AJ Styles and got the W to pretty much tie the series to 2-2. The next match I want to talk about is a tag team match between the New Day and the League of Nations. To explain both teams, the League of Nations is a team full of 4 wrestlers: Rusev, Sheamus, King Barrett, and trying to think about the person's name. and Alberto Del Rio. Sorry about that. And they're a group of wrestlers who are from different countries, and they came to as one, and all won many championships, and they're very, they're the bad guys. Compared to the New Day, my favorite tag team, Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods. They're African American wrestlers. Both have college degrees. All have college degrees. Actually, Xavier Woods, if you didn't know, actually have a PhD, so that was cool. But they're very goofy, flamboyant, but they're fun. And they went toe to toe with one another, and they fought. It was a good match. They wrestled well and had a lot of chemistry with each team. But in the end, 4 against 3 with the League of Nations was too much for the New Day, and they beat them. And at the end of the match, actually, it was they was talking trash, and then guess what? Out of nowhere, 3 legends come. Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And shout out to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Got the shirt on. Got to show the back real quick. He's one of the OGs in wrestling, Hall of Famers. Everybody knows who Stone Cold is. Came out, fouled him, beat him up. Stone Cold gave him Stone Cold Stunner. If you don't know what that is, it's like a neck breaker. You slam him on the neck, but it's a cool move. And pretty much, they celebrated at the end of the day with the New Day. But, Xavier Woods trying to be flamboyant and funny, try to have everybody dance, but Stone Cold, being Stone Cold, gave him a little stunner and slammed him, and then pretty much, he got a pop from the crowd, 98,000. But it was a fun moment for WrestleMania. My next match that I want to talk about was actually one of my favorite matches. Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose. If you don't know who Brock Lesnar is a monster. He played football. He actually was a wrestler before, he played football. After he played football in college. And he was actually in the UFC. So he's very athletic, very tough. Pretty much he's a badass, And versus Dean Ambrose, who's been all over the world with wrestling and to perfect his craft. And he was the underdog. Pretty much in the beginning, Brock Lesnar was slamming Dean Ambrose over and over again with a suplex. That's when he grabs him from the back and just slams him. It was, that's Brock Lesnar thing, But Dean Ambrose came back and had to use weapons to pretty much get him down because Brock Lesnar is a big guy and he's going to take a lot to get him down. But in all, it was a fun match, a lot of fun spots, a lot of weapons use. Even at one point, they brought a weapon that we thought was like, wow, they're going to use it. But Brock Lesnar pretty much reversed it and pretty much slammed him. And for him to win, he literally slammed him on chairs and had to beat him with the 1, 2, 3. But it was a good, fun match. The next match I want to talk about, my opinion on the best match, was pretty much between 3 women. Charlotte, who's the champion, and Becky Lynch, and my favorite female wrestler, Sasha Banks. Honestly, in my opinion, and a lot of people who that's in the wrestling community, believe that this was the best match of WrestleMania 32. And this storyline is actually a good storyline. Pretty much, these 3 wrestlers came up from developmental company of WWE, and they made a big impact when they came up. They put on 5-star matches when they was in developmental, and now they're actually on the main roster. So it was actually a really good, heartfelt story, because before, females never got the opportunity and pretty much was in the prehistoric ages of just doing 3 or 4 or 5-minute matches. But now with these females, they're literally getting the time on TV to literally do 10, 15, 20 matches like men. So, that was a good thing. So with the match saying said, all 3 women pretty much put it all out on the line, doing high-risk moves and having risky spots that could have got you injured, but they still put it on through. And it was a lot of moves done. And honestly, like I said, I really feel like this match was very great, well put together, very, scripted in a good way. In the end, Charlotte got the win by pretty much making Becky tap. But with controversy, having her father, Ric Flair, who also is a Hall of Famer, grab Sasha so she couldn't break up the submission. But it was a great match. They honestly honestly, I believe it was the best match of the card of the show. The next match was a match pretty much between Shane McMahon, who is the son of the owner, Vince McMahon, versus the Dead Man, aka The Undertaker. With this storyline, Shane came back from the company after being absent for 7 years, and he wanted to take over the company, but his dad pretty much told him, for you to take over the company, you have to beat a wrestler at WrestleMania. If you beat the wrestler, you can have the company. If you don't, you can't have the company. So the dad, being smart, he got one of the best wrestlers who've been in wrestling for the last 25 years, and his name is The Undertaker. The Undertaker is a very, very good wrestler, and he's been wrestling for a very long time. And WrestleMania is pretty much his Super Bowl, and he only lost one match at WrestleMania. That was against Brock Lesnar. But the other matches that he fought, he had won. This match was in a Hell in a Cell. And a Hell in a Cell, if you don't know, is a match pretty much when it's like a 10-foot cell pretty much put around the ring. And pretty much wrestlers have to fight in it or can fight outside of it. So the match was a no disqualification match pretty much. No holds barred, you could use weapons or anything. And it went back and forth. And most of the high spots were, weapons being used on each other one. But the biggest high spot, the oh my gosh moment, was when Shane hit Undertaker to put him on the table, announcer table. He climbed up the cage from 15 feet. I said 10 feet, but I'd probably say 10, 15, maybe even 10, 15 feet. Climbed up all the way to the cage and tried to jump off and hit Undertaker. Undertaker moved just in the nick of time, and honestly, Shane fell through the announce table. After that, Undertaker gave him this move that's called a Tombstone Power Driver that you'll see in the video, and pinned a 1, 2, 3, and Shane lost the match. But it was a standing ovation off of both wrestlers because they put their bodies on the line. And people need to realize that with professional wrestling, you can't get hurt. It is somewhat, yes, it's scripted, but at the same time, when you jump off something 10, 15 feet and you slam into it. Let's see what happened to you. You might break your neck, you might break your back, you never know. But it was a good match. The next match that I want to talk about was the Battle Royal. This was a short but fun match. Had a lot of moments. For example, had former wrestlers come back. For example, like DDP. He's a former wrestler from WCW. He was cool. He actually had matches with athletes, for example, Karl Malone, Dennis Rodman, and he actually had a match with David Aguilar. Forgot the actor name, but yeah. But he came back and he was in the Battle Royal. And the Battle Royal, if you didn't know, is pretty much, it was about 10 to 15 people, and the object of the match is pretty much to throw your opponent over the ring, the last person in the ring. And the surprise moment that had me and everybody else was pretty much Shaq came into the match. Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq came into the match, and pretty much he put on the show, eliminating people, and he went up against the Big Show. And if you don't know who the Big Show is one of the biggest wrestlers ever. And they pretty much went at it, but they got eliminated by the other people. But in all, at the end of the match, the person who won it was a person that was in developmental named Baron Corbin. So that was a good start for his career. And and that pretty much put him on the spot to actually make an impact. The next match I want to talk about, or segment/match, was The Rock came. Yes, The Rock. And pretty much he came in to get the crowd hype and, pretty much tell people that WrestleMania set the record with 98,000 people. And that was pretty much cool because they broke their previous record that I believe that was about 94,000 back in the day. But then while celebrating, the Wyatt family came, and pretty much the Wyatt family consists of 4 people. Bray Wyatt, the leader, Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, and Braun Strowman.